Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffeefusion. This week we're going to look at streaming latte art examined. Hey guys, so before we get started, just want to let you know that streaming latte art is a bit of an advanced tutorial. So what I'm going to do first of all is put up a little bit of a playlist of the previous examined videos. So if you want to check out some basic latte art instead, you can do that. But if you think you're a bit past that, you're a bit of a gun at latte art, let's get stuck into streaming latte art. Now there's a few things you want to look at when you're pouring these kinds of patterns that are a little bit different to pouring your average latte art. The main thing is how you go about pouring your streaming pattern. So normally when you pour latte art, you aim to kind of hit the top of your pattern as the cup is just about full. But if you were to try and pour the same way when you're streaming, when you come back down through the pattern to stream your bulbs in, you won't have enough room, and so you're likely to overflow the cup. So what this means is that you've got to get through the first part of your pattern a little bit sooner than you normally would. You don't have to pour any faster, but what I'm just saying is normally you might sort of pour your pattern when you're sort of 3/4 full. You might want to start a little bit earlier, or just be aware of the level of the latte art as you're pouring the pattern, and make sure you're not too full when you come back down through the pattern to do your streaming. So the next part of streaming latte art is actually pouring the streams in. And so the way this differs from your normal latte art, when you normally pour your latte art, you normally lift up your jug and cut through the pattern. But instead this time you want to sort of lift up to start cutting through and then push back down into the pattern to pour your stream. Another little tip here, if the amount of milk that you're pouring, if you make sure you kind of have just a little bit over the amount you need to fill the cup, because that will allow you to tilt the jug more when it comes time to streaming, which will make it easier to push those bulbs inside the pattern. If you still have a lot of milk, it'll make it a little bit harder. Another thing is to make sure that when you're pouring your streaming pattern, is that you keep that line pouring nice and straight, so that you get that nice symmetry of your pattern, just in the same way as if you were cutting through a rosetta or a tulip. Is really important there as well. But the last thing that I think is most important for streaming latte art is leaving some space in your pour for where you're going to put those streamed hearts into. If you see with this example here, when I'm pouring this winged tulip, I actually leave some space in the tulip design so that when I'm coming back through the pattern, I can push the bulb into that space and have that streaming design. And when you do that, you get a lot more clean definition with your streaming pattern, instead of it looking like a bit of a muddled mess. So there you go guys, that is the streaming latte art examined. Hopefully these tips will give you some ideas of how to pour some better streaming designs. If you're going to give it a go, make sure you just tag me when you post it on Instagram, and I'll see your post and I can give you some tips if you need them, or I can give you a shout out if you're pouring some really great streaming designs. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, just click that like button because that really helps me. And if this is your first video, Coffeefusion is a coffee community where we kind of talk about everything coffee related on YouTube videos. We also have Instagram and Snapchat, and we also have a coffee roastery. So what you can do is buy your coffee from the Coffeefusion roastery if you're based within Australia, and you can learn about the coffees and use that to kind of further your education in the coffee world. I'm now roasting a couple of times a week for this project, so things are really starting to take off, and it allows me to kind of live this dream and work on this community and create something really cool. So thank you guys for your orders, and yeah, check out the website if you haven't already. Alrighty guys, that's me for today. If you have any other coffee related questions, just make sure you put them in the comments below, and I'll use those for my next videos. See you later. Do 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 do. Oh, that was the old intro music. Oh well.